preseason optimism is at an all-time high for our Michigan State Spartans. We're going to find out if we still feel like that after 30 minutes of our chat with John Kirby here. Let's go.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to today's show of Locked On Spartans, your team in green and white 5 days a week. It is not just me blabbing on and on this show. No. We have half of the only podcast joining us today. It's John Kirby. Wow. Mr. Kirby, how on earth are we doing on this fantastic summer day?
Dude, that music gets me hyped. Like that gets you going a little bit. So yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm ready. I don't know what we have planned. I'm ready to hot seat this thing up.
I got no idea what we have planned either, but let's just dive into it. But before that, hey, please rate, review, and subscribe to this here podcast or YouTube channel. Give us 5 stars. Why not? If you're feeling just like a nice person today. Anyway, so Kirby, look, I want to have you on because I feel like we think very just alike. You know, our Spartans are coming off a 5-7 season. Our starting quarterback left the room. Our 2 NFL caliber wide receivers no longer here. I saw on Big Ten Network yesterday that, hey, Michigan State is returning 48% of their production on offense, which I think is second worst in the Big Ten. Our secondary hasn't been good in years. We have a lot of injury issues, all right? Even already this fall, Nick Samac still has not practiced yet this fall. All that said, 9-3. Like, I cannot just get it out of my head that I should be feeling good going into this season right now. There is something about that mid-August air that just has me feeling sky high on the Spartans. Am I vindicated, or are you going to try to talk me out of this here, man? Because, God, I just laid out a lot of facts, but I'm brushing all that aside, and I'm just going into the sunset thinking that Music City Bowl, here we come.
New year, new me. That's how Mel's feeling too, right? Like, right. Last year, some would say never happened. I just wrote it off, so I'm not too worried about it. Here's the deal: like, what was it Judd Heathcote used to say? Like, the good news is, we got everyone coming back. The bad news is everyone's coming back. Well, we don't have everyone coming back, and so in my eyes, they went 5-7. And could it be worse? Absolutely. I don't think it will be, because for the first time in a while, completely seriously, there's more top-end talent on this roster, like not top, but the top-end talent on this roster than there has been so far in the Michigan State era. We can make excuses all day long as to why they underachieved last year.
Sure. We have. Oh, yeah.
We have, and I'm happy to
we have.
Excuse it more and more if necessary. But in reality, quietly, Mel Tucker is stacking good classes. Are they good enough to compete with the upper echelon of the Big Ten or nation? Well, we're going to really find out. But there are a bunch of teams that you can look at that they play this year that you can say, well, we have more talent than them. So, certainly we need a little bit more than talent, but it goes a long ways to have a few Jimmies and Joes.
As far as talent goes too, this is the group I feel almost worse for, but it is that sophomore class, because look, the first COVID class, I guess you'll call it again. I mean, not to be making excuses less than 5 minutes into the show here, but that's a wonky class. I don't know if that's really at best, that's a wash. So the true first class that Mel Tucker actually recruited with no restrictions, being able to do it in person, they are sophomores, but man, John, they got to ramp things up here pretty quickly, because like we talked about on yesterday's show, like we've really talked about all of offseason, 4 teams in the top 10 in the AP poll on this schedule. So hey, I get you're just a sophomore. I get that you only had a few games under your belt last year, Mr. Dylan Tatum, Jaden Mangum, Malik Spencer, because everyone else on the defense was carrying their limbs off the field. But you're going to have to be good this year. I pre-feel bad for the sophomores, because yes, we talk about talent, we talk about these great recruits, but Oh God, they're still 19 years old, John. that's pretty young.
The good news is they are actually talented sophomores versus,
Yeah, that helps.
Guys you can feel good about trotting out there. Like you said, 4 top 10 teams, but beat the best to be the best. Will they beat them? I don't know. I can tell you that looking at the performances of those sophomores, those underclassmen in those big games is going to be a great indicator of next year's team ceiling.
Yeah.
And you can feel good about the team's improvement based on those 4 games. The rest of the games, we can't look past. Look, Indiana happened last year. It happened. Can't look past that stuff anymore. That's a coaching thing. That's maybe they're getting fat and sassy after 11-2 season.
Oh, wow.
Who's to say? I don't know.
2 basketball references by 2 separate Michigan State basketball coaches. You are on a heater right now. This is
let's start hoops season. By the way, I'm already in hoops mode. To be
that's good. I need your help telling me how I should feel about the quarterback situation going on, because I come from 2 schools of thought here. Both are completely on opposite ends of each other, which should surprise no one that actually listens to the show. Look, hey, on the bright side, hey, a lot of turnover from the offense. It's great. It's fantastic, okay? A lot of guys are going to get their opportunity. We're going to really show who belongs in East Lansing here. And, hey, what's going down in Auburn? Peyton Thorne left. The reports out of that is that he is really having a battle against Robbie Ashford for that starting job. A guy that threw 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions last year. A guy that threw less than 50% completion. He's struggling to win the starting job over that guy. Should those reports be true? Hey, you know what? Maybe this is addition by subtraction here in East Lansing. It's either Noah Kim, it's either Katin Houser, or Sam Leavitt, whose name gets thrown out every single time the media asks the coaches about him. But on the other end, John, and maybe this is just a stupid brain of mine, but this is a lot of receivers that are cracking into the rotation. When Mel Tucker was asked about receivers on Big Ten Network the other day, he named just about 27 different receivers. Right. We have 3 quarterbacks that we're going through. That's a lot of combinations there of just chemistry. And what is one thing that we heralded Michigan State, if for anything, on the offensive game last year? It was just the chemistry between Peyton Thorne and Jaden Reed. It was great. But now, yeah. I mean, we've got so many combinations of people here that should we be feeling good about the pass game? Help me formulate an opinion here on the pass game, John, because I need help. Clearly,
I can Kool-Aid this all day.
Yeah, please. Okay, let's go.
For all reality, these receivers that didn't see a lot of the fields, are now breaking into the rotation. They were taking the reps with these 2 guys for all of last season. So is that good? You can say, and you can say oh, well, they didn't play. Well, the starters are NFL players. So there's not the way you might feel about the defense, the secondary, where you're God, why didn't they play last year? There was no one in front of them. Well, in this situation, they have NFL starting wide receivers in front of them. Okay. So it's not, you can feel more optimistic about these wide receivers or somebody coming on and popping, especially because there's a little rapport with either of the 2 guys you mentioned as a starter. So it relates to Peyton Thorne. It's this is the way of college football now, and
sure is,
and that's okay. We are part of it too. We have won with the portal. That is great. We have lost a little here and there. You're gonna miss too. In this situation, if a going into third year starting quarterback isn't confident that he's starting, I think you can feel good about that as a fan.
True.
Okay. I think you can feel wow, last year wasn't good enough, and we're going to do something about it instead of rolling the balls back out and saying, hey, maybe it'll be better like it was his sophomore year. Well, okay, let's remind ourselves what happened that sophomore year. You hit the lotto with the portal, and you had an NFL Rookie of the Year candidate running back. And it's not to say that you don't have good, running backs last year. It's just not at that level. And then you had a slew of other things that just domino affected this entire team, and mental errors, candidly, and coaching errors. It all kind of fell on itself. Well, it's I can think of no better place than to start new with somebody than to just starting fresh. And whoever wins the job, you can probably expect the other person to transfer at the end of the year. And you can still feel good because you finally have a Mel Tucker and Jay Johnson recruit in the 2 deep at the quarterback position in Sam Leavitt.
And we are going to be right back with our guy, John Kirby, here in a hot second. Just need to talk your ear off about FanDuel Sportsbook. College football is about to ramp up. Go ahead and get those futures in. Michigan State's over-under FanDuel sits at 5.5. But hey, shortly after kickoff for college football, NFL season, FanDuel is hooking it up. Football season is all about the winning here at FanDuel. And we're going to give you the chance to win all season long, because right now when you bet on a Super Bowl winner, you get a bonus bet every time they win in the regular season. If you're like me, if you're like our good friend John Kirby, you are a Lions fan, well, put your money where your mouth is. 21-1 odds to win the Super Bowl, even if they don't get it done. Hey, you still win a bonus bet every time they win in the regular season. Just pick any team to win the Super Bowl, and you'll get a bonus bet with every victory. You can use these bets on the spreads, player props, over-unders, and a ton more this season. So go visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and start earning bonus bets with America's #1 sportsbook. That is FanDuel.com/lockedon, FanDuel.com/lockedon.
So, I think either way, whoever wins, wins, and when does win happen, right? It could be week 3. We won't know. What we do know is that these two guys are a better quarterback competition talent-wise than we had between Peyton Thorne and Anthony Russo.
Certainly.
In 2021. So whoever wins this is going to be a more talented quarterback than what we had Peyton Thorne winning that his sophomore year. He had a season-setting, record-setting year that year, in large part because of play action and the ability to break one big. A lot is gonna rely on the running game here to open things up.
Yeah.
But you can feel as good about that as you've been in the Mel Tucker era. Granted, things went extremely well in 2021. We didn't walk into that season thinking it was going to be great. This is the best offensive line that this program's had under Mel. You can feel good about it. You have a couple guys at running back that you feel like, could they pop? We'll see. And it all will just unfold from here. I've said a lot. This is a bridge year. You get to test out and see the next year. And I think that's the takeaway.
I'm inspired. I started this recording 9-3. I dipped down to 6-6 for a little bit, just for like a quick second. But now I'm dusting off the old New Year's Six Bowl shirt over here. Like, this is, we're so back, John. This is what I'm talking about.
Why not? Why not us, right? You can say the same thing with Michigan State programs, is no one wants to play us, dude. Like,
we're scrappy. We bite kneecaps. That's right.
A little bit. And like, that is a good feeling. And you're going to have a talented team go out there that you hope can be motivated by an embarrassing season last year and win the games that you should win. And then anything else is up for, gravy at that point.
That would be a nice step in the right direction, is winning the games that you should win. Like when you are up 17 points in the second half against Indiana at home, let's go ahead and shut that door, shall we here? John, I'm going to introduce a very, very cerebral game right here. This is going to take a lot of attention from a lot of listeners, so get out your notepads, note pens out, everyone. It's called Fill in the Blank.
Love it.
You're going to have a sentence. You just got to fill in the blank, John. Is that good?
Let's go. Let's go.
Great. Awesome. Wow. That was not a lot of explaining there. Thank God. Blank is getting talked about more this fall than I thought he would. Blank is getting talked about more this fall than I thought he would. A lot of notes, a lot of quotes out here from practice last few weeks, John. Who is the surprise name for you?
Man, it's a really good one.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks, man.
I'm split on this one, and I'd have to say, you knew the QB battle was going to be like the number one talking point, but I'm a little surprised at how far Houser has come. I didn't think he'd be this far along.
Okay.
I didn't think he'd be this far along by now. I think maybe I hoped he would be, but that was maybe wishful thinking. I'm surprised, the rumblings that are heard, you see that he's really performing really well. That's very encouraging. And then, I think the other guy that I'm kind of excited about is I think we're hearing more and more about just this linebacking core in general, like just really gel, like being as good as we hoped they could be. And if they are solid along with the defensive line, I think we have a lot of optimism. So it wasn't just a person, you've got an automatic tackler and an absolute playmaker and Windman, and Darius Snow, if he's healthy, and coming down there, you can feel really good about that. So I wasn't surprised, but I was happy to hear.
Yeah. No, that plays. I want to stick to the quarterback room here because for me, I have a name written down. It's not Noah Kim. It's not Katin Houser.
Okay.
I mentioned this on the show yesterday, but I am surprised that every single time Jay Johnson or Mel Tucker is in front of a microphone, it's a 3-man quarterback battle. Look, do I think that Sam Leavitt actually has a shot of winning this job? No disrespect, unless like Katin Houser and Noah Kim get in a moped accident and they break all 4 of their combined legs on Shaw Lane. Like that's the only thing I could really think. But John, allow me to put on my tinfoil hat here. I love a good conspiracy, like harmless conspiracies, nothing that's actually going to harm anyone. But is his name getting thrown out there? Mm-hmm. Because it is presumed that, hey, whoever loses between Noah Kim, Katin Houser is going to split and leave town at the first chance they get. So we're just already getting Sam Leavitt fired up, making him feel like he belongs in the 2 deep, getting the fan base used to the name Sam Leavitt because, hey, well, it'd be awesome to have either Noah Kim or Katin Houser as your backup quarterback. Reality is I got a really hard time believing that. So enter true freshman Sam Leavitt. How insane is that?
No, that's it.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
No, it's exactly right.
Enable me. Thank you. Yeah, good.
Exactly right. There's smoke screening his name, to make, because they don't want to have to talk about the elephant in the room that there's a battle between 2 guys. If you say it's a battle between 3, like maybe you feel better about it. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I think you're absolutely right. They're introducing him to the country, our fan base, because point of fact, he's going to be, ideally the face of the program in one day, not in the near future, but in the future for sure.
With all due respect to Sam Leavitt, I hope it's not the near future. Like if he is the star, like again, I have no doubt that he will have a good career here in East Lansing. It'd just be very hard for me to believe that he is better already than Noah Kim and Katin Houser. It would be something, or he is like the prodigy and a 4-star rating was somehow 3 stars too low on his rating coming out of high school.
That's a conspiracy. I love that.
You like that one? We're going to get really wacky with that one. Stay tuned. When Sam Leavitt plays the entire game against Central, I will talk myself into that being actually true here. Wait for that one here in a little bit. John, a lot of optimism so far this episode. I like it. I hope the viewers like it. The listeners like it. I hope you've been liking this, but let's just switch it up really quick here. Let's kind of find baseline here. Blank is when I would start worrying about the season. Blank is when I would start worrying about the season here.
First half of the first game, if you don't see the offensive line really move the ball.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
And the defensive line assert themselves as the dominant group. It's just one couple of series, but if you don't see it immediately against a MAC team and then an FCS team the next week, it ain't just going to show up against top 10 teams. Right. So I would tell you that's when, and if they pass the test, they get to go to the next test of, the Washington game.
So mine, I took this differently. For me, it's if you are 2-2 leaving Spartan Stadium after those 4 games. Look, any combination of 2-2, like the most realistic one is going to be beating up on the Chips, beating up on the Spiders, and then lose to Washington and then Maryland, because I think it's important this year. Now, whether there's, a lot of legitimacy behind that, that's for you, the listener, to decide, but it's going to be important here to stay up on Maryland in the Big Ten East. Right now, it is the Big 3, and then like the middle 2 with us in Maryland, and then like the basement dwellers with Indiana and Rutgers, of course. But you got to be on top of Maryland here going into what would be the 5th year of Mel Tucker's regime here at East Lansing. So it's just that alone, but also like you have a 4-game homestand. That has to be at worst 3-1. Ideally 4-0 would be fantastic, obviously, but again, Washington, very talented team. You could swallow that a little bit, but if you are 2-2, yeah, okay, that's gonna
2-2
alarm
is
bells. Yeah,
2-2, and we are locked on the MSU hoops team. I think at that moment.
Certainly. Oh my God, yeah, your round ball team 5 days a week here on this program. Or also, so that's my rational thought, but I know that deep down inside of me, like if Central goes down, they win the coin toss, they get the opening kickoff, and they kick like a 45-yard field goal to go up 3-0. The season's going to be over. Like I will call the season dead on arrival.
Turn it off. Go do yard work.
Right.
Pay attention to my kids. Yeah.
God, for once this fall, I will try to do that. Yeah, like we all know how this goes. Like I'm going to tell myself, I'll give it a month, and then we'll circle back later. But no, it's going to be with like 11 minutes, 10 seconds left in the first quarter. We will be pulling hair out. No problem. Yeah, no, we know who we are, John. Come on. Sorry, what were you saying?
I just am who I am. I can't change that.
Unapologetically. All right, back to Optimismville right now. Blank is when I would start feeling great about this season.
I think I don't think you can feel great about a season just because you beat Washington at home. I think we need to be adults about this.
We know better. Yeah.
But I also think that you can like hold your program to a higher standard than being excited that you're 3-0. So for me, I would say you can start to feel great about the season if you leave the Michigan game with 1 loss. Like you've ideally won that game, and you can start to feel like this season has been, great thus far if you've gone that many games and you have 1 loss.
You took the words right out of my mouth, because that's what I was going to say. Like I know it's very high expectations for this team too, but look, I mean, after that, you still have 5 games. But if you do leave that game 6-1, I mean, first off, like just that hangover that following morning is going to be a biblical one. But at least as you're wearing off that hangover, like you are realizing that, hey, no matter what happens these last 5 weeks, we are going bowling here. Like we have hit our Vegas expectation of over 5.5. So like that's good on the surface. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just John L. Smith and me not to like get fired up. Like if they do leave September 4-0, or if they do go into Kinnick and they leave 5-0, like I would be like, yeah, this is awesome, this is great, but a lot of game left in this season. So that's just John L. Smith just instilling into me that, hey, never get excited about anything in life. That's it.
That is the way to go. Leave expectations forever moving in the goalpost area. So
yeah. 100%. We're going to get to some recent news here for our last 2. They could be quick. They also could not be quick. I don't know. We'll see how long we ramble for. But hey, for that Washington game, the 2013 Rose Bowl team is going to be honored. That news breaks today on Wednesday. So, John, for our next one, the 2013 Rose Bowl team being honored this year makes me feel blank.
Some type of way.
That is what I'm talking. God, hook, line, and sinker. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what you want.
All right, that's it for our show. You know what? Let's just end it right here. That was great.
Dude, I thought of Rich Homie when that post went up, and I was like, I wonder what he's up to. My man's got 1.1 million Twitter followers. He's still balling.
Okay.
He never stopped going in.
No, he didn't. Sure didn't.
Word. It's my guy. How about you? Was that your answer too?
My legitimate first thought was like, 10 years? Like,
yeah, that's bad.
Like that. It's been a minute. We are in double-digit years since that Rose Bowl team has happened, but also it's just more of a inner battle that I'm having. Like, oh God, we're so old. We are so old. That was my senior year. I am 10 years removed from college.
Oh,
I am washed. I am lame. Like I always knew that I'm, on the lamer side of things, but like now I'm just old on top of that, man. Like but it's nostalgic though. I'm glad that they will get their shine. Like that is going to be a great atmosphere in East Lansing. So
I'm hyped. I'm already
nostalgic is the word I'll use. Nostalgic. I'm going to blend, hey, that happened a while ago, but also with good memories. I feel like that's a good marketing word to use there. Nostalgic. John Kirby.
What else we got?
The last one. 4 games at Michigan State this year will have booze being sold. It's going to happen an hour before the opening kick. It's going to end 10 minutes after halftime. You can buy 2 beers at a time. No prices yet leaked. So, John, Well, so get ready for a high number here then. The most I would pay is blank dollars for a beer at Spartan Stadium. Now, this is situational, I think. I'm fully aware that this is situational. Like, if it's 20-10 Chips lead going into halftime week 1, that's a different answer than up 28-3 at halftime against Richmond. So
that's a great point. Yeah.
Not good.
In fact, there should be like a market supply demand happening in real time at the
Yes. You want to make money, Michigan State? You want to make money? That's how you do it.
Trying to help you guys. If it's a close game, just crush it's cost more, baby. I'm going to go and I'm going to say these are 16 ounces. I would pay probably, I'm terrible. I would pay like $12 for one of those bad. I'm almost $1 an ounce on this thing in Spartans.
Yes. For a 50-degree Busch Light pumped you. Yes.
Hot, dirty beer. That's what I need.
Okay. If it truly is Chips 20, Spartans 10 going into halftime, both quarterbacks are looking terrible. Our offensive line is getting decimated. Like I might be willing to throw a $20 and a $10 bill at the person. Right. I think I would pay $30 for a in case of emergency break glass beer. Now, there's no way to say that and not sound incredibly problematic and sound like a functioning alcoholic. But look, I'm very honest on this show. If not for nothing else, you get transparency out of me. But like I would need in the worst way hot beer, John. I don't care if that's $30.
I'm not sitting through that sober.
No. Out of your mind if you think I am. Yeah.
No. In fact, what is it going to take to just bring the keg with us down to this? Yes. Like, how much money are we? I'm open checkbook. Just take the check.
Yeah.
I need it.
Give me your number. I'm going to keep tapping the sign on the concession stand that says like what charity all these proceeds are going to. I'm like, you want Boy Scout troop number 497 to have a good school year? Like that keg for $2,000 right now. I will do it. So yeah,
dude,
perfect.
That's great. No, I think it's going to be a very interesting time. I hope it'll help students stick around. And if they're smart, they're going to put their Venmo like on a sign and say like, keep me here. And I'd be like, dude, I got nothing better to do. Here's 12.
Hell yeah, brother. Right. I do love just the sliding scale. Like those stock market beer beer places, bars are what they're called. Like those are hip. Those are nice. Those are cool. But God, what a financial gain Michigan State can have.
Absolutely, man.
I'm calling Alan Haller after this right now, and I am pitching that. So thank you.
Do we have to do everything around here? Like, come on.
I mean, first we got to do human resource work for Michigan football over in Ann Arbor, getting Chevy Schembeckler's background checked, all sorted out, and now we got to do fundraising over here in East Lansing. Like, what's next for us, John? We got it's tough. It's tough. Someone's got to do it, though.
Fueling the propaganda on this episode, getting us hyped. I fully admit this was a full cup of Kool-Aid. Drinking it in a hot August day with you.
I'm shocked like my tongue isn't stained green right now. But, John, this has been great. Go check out the work that him and Austin do at The Only Podcast. Always love having you on, man. Who knows when it'll happen again next? So we're both about to be double parents over here. So, our schedules are just going to be wide open. But, hey, until the next time, John, take it easy. You're the best, man. You're the best.
Later, man.
Hey, go green, everyone. Love you all. Until next time.